welcome to the All UVcast channel, and it is match day, another match day live, and today, obviously, Juventus versus Atalanta in the Coppa Italia Final, and joining me today is Antonio. Antonio, how are you doing?
I'm great, Alberto. A good morning to you. I know it's early over there.
It is. We're at 4 a.m. here, but yeah, it is what it is. I'm always up here. You know what it's like. You got the little ones, and yeah, sleep is just something spoken about now, and it's something that doesn't really happen all that much. So,
Yeah, it's very much a luxury when you get to our age, Alberto.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So we've got some topics to discuss. Obviously, never a dull moment surrounding Juventus and futures of players, managers, the board even have been in question for months now, and it's just picking up a lot of steam naturally as we wind down into the final couple of matches. Today being the second to last and being a final for the Coppa Italia, and of course we have the big one on the weekend, which will dictate what happens. It could dictate what happens. We still need some help, but we were thrown another lifeline. We'll get into that more, but we'll kick it off with the new kits that are being unveiled today, and were unveiled yesterday and available on the store yesterday. So let's talk a little bit about kits. Everybody knows I'm a kit collector and I love them and whatnot. But Antonio, your thoughts on the new home kit?
Yeah, I think it's. I could possibly be in the minority here, but I'm actually all for it. I think it's very nice. I like the direction the club's finally decided to go with this one. The only kind of flaw I would say, I'm not a particular fan of the collar. I would have preferred more of a round neck, as I say. But yeah, I'll certainly be purchasing it.
Yeah. I don't think you're in the minority in liking it. I've seen a lot of positives out there. I think everybody's happy to have just the classic stripes.
Yeah.
Stripes that aren't altered. I mean, we went from a half and half kit, in last season, to now this one with the odd particular stripes there.
Yeah.
So everyone was happy just to get something classic back. The 4XE under the Jeep 4XE logo seems to bother some.
Yeah.
It's already kind of fading in my mind. At initial look, it kind of bothered me, but now it's already kind of fading. It has some nice highlights about the 10 years at home, which I like, paying homage obviously to the stadium, Allianz Stadium, and being the 10th year anniversary there. So it's pretty cool. It's a nice kit. Definitely like it. We'll definitely be picking it up. The question is, players on the back. And I see a lot of fans jumping on already, and Freddie Church, big popular one, Delict, a big popular one. I'm gonna ask you the question: you're gonna get the kit? Are you gonna get a player on the back? Are you gonna go with a current player? Or are you gonna get a legend?
Yesterday, actually, I replied to your tweet with two all-time favourites of mine. I will buy the jersey, and it's got to be between Fabrizio Ravanelli and Alan Boksic. Say all-time favourites of mine.
Nice. Yes. One of my favorite kits, the 95-96 away with Ravanelli on there. Yeah, that's top. I see a lot more people doing that when you're looking at social media, is getting these jerseys and getting the legends. And I also saw a discussion out there, and I think it was AJ that started it, and he was talking about how he feels strange getting a player jersey with somebody that's younger than he is. And I thought about that and I had to laugh because I'm like, shit, I would probably have only Buffon to purchase. At my age, I could only go with Buffon. So I'm thinking that leaves me, high and dry. So it's pretty much only Legend or Buffon there. But I don't know. He just says, what was the mention there? It seems like you're idolizing somebody that's younger than you, which is strange. But I never really thought about it that way, other than just supporting your team and getting a player that you like, right? But it's an interesting way to look at it. Any thoughts on that one, Tony?
Yeah, as I say, you and I have discussed this many times. Unfortunately, I'm stuck in the 90s, and I'll probably always be stuck in the 90s. So, and obviously getting the older guys on the jersey makes me feel a bit better, because I'm probably older than most of the Juve players that are playing just now. So, I think another thing, in addition to the new kit, I think it'll look much better with the Scudetto for the Coppa Italia win tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get not just that badge, but let's get the right one on the sleeve this weekend. So we'll get into all that. But we're in agreement. Great looking kit. Shout out to everybody who's joining us already. Juve Power, St. Ciao, NTO, Forza Juve, Omar. Shout out to Anto, looking good. There you go. Alex P joining us. Fantastic. All right. Well, we got Atalanta. Coppa Italia Final. The previous matches with Atalanta were very, very difficult ones. We know we lost the last one on a very, very unfortunate goal to allow off a deflection that hit Sandro from a shot outside. The one prior to that was a very, very tough one. Undeserved draw, you could say, because Atalanta were the better. It's tough when we face them. Because of their setup and ours, trying to continuously work with a midfielder playing on the outside, McKennie typically, and the way Atalanta shapes up in that 3-5-2 that is very, very fluid and quick to transition. They spread us out quite easily. A little bit, I don't know if I'd say I'm surprised to see that the projection still goes with a 4-4-2, and still slotted with McKennie out on one of those wings, rather than going with somebody that's more natural suited to that outside. So it's going to be a tough one. But before we even get into all this, I see some fans saying, rest your main guys for Sunday. Don't worry about the Coppa Italia final.
No.
Forget about it. Give it to Atalanta, whatnot. And some fans saying they want to see Atalanta win over Juve because they deserve it and whatnot. And I'm not on the same page. And Anto, let's kick it off with your thoughts on going after it. Do we rest, focus on the Sunday? Like, what are your thoughts in terms of this final before we even get to lineups and everything?
I've been a Juventus fan for a long time now, and it's all about winning. We're winning trophies and being better than the opposition overall, as I say. So we put our best 11 out, and we focus on tonight's game, and nothing else matters. The Coppa Italia win is important for the way the seasons went so far. Sunday's a different event altogether. As I say, we need to focus on getting the title tonight. And further distance ourselves from the opposition in terms of how many Coppa Italias we've won. So 100% we play our best team. I don't understand people that want to rest players. It's just not my mentality, I'm afraid.
Yeah, and I'm with you on that one. I mean, you go after it and let the chips land where they land, and then face Sunday. It's always one match at a time. That's what it should be, but should never change going out there and trying to win each and every match. So for me, you line them up, you go out there and try and get it. The one thing with this match against Atalanta is from one to the next with Pirlo, it didn't necessarily seem to learn a whole bunch. You know what I mean? In some other matchups, you saw Pirlo, adjust and make some moves. And this was one of them where we didn't really gain anything from one match to the next. And it looked like he still was out of sorts in terms of lining us up against them. And they still kind of had their way in both matches. And it's a little bit unsettling for this one. In terms of projected lineups, look at this. And another great point by Bianconeri's own about Sunday is it's not in our hands. So resting makes no sense. You go after this one because even if we win on Sunday, it still does not guarantee Juve that Champions League spot. We still have to hope for one of the other two scenarios.
Yeah.
And one of them, of course, again, involving Atalanta. Juve winning and then Atalanta preventing Milan from maximum points, and or Hellas Verona pulling points away from Napoli. So we still need help. But that's why I just say let's go for it. Even if we didn't need help, would that change anything in your mind, Antonio?
And sorry, in the relation to
even if we didn't need help on Sunday, say that a win solidified it, would that change you going after this Coppa Italia final? For me, it still wouldn't change anything.
No, it's a final. It's a final with a well-respected trophy up for grabs. So yeah, when you play with Juventus or you support Juventus, you want to win. It's all about winning. It's our motto. It's imprinted in our heritage. So yeah, it's regardless of what needs to be done on Sunday, we need to win tonight. As I say, you brought up a very interesting point actually. If for example, Atalanta beat us tonight, they might take it easy on Sunday, because they've won a trophy. Complacency might settle in. But on the other hand, if Juventus win tonight, Atalanta want to go out and obviously get a positive result, So winning can only help, as I say. And as I say, when it's a final, you need to win the trophy. There's no other option.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you there. And let's get into some lineups here. This is a projected lineup that we will most likely see. Buffon in goal. De Ligt and Chiellini as your center backs. Quadrado, Danilo on your outsides. Across the middle, McKennie, Bentancur, Rabiot, Chiesa, with Dybala and Ronaldo up top. Your initial thoughts on seeing this lineup, Antonio?
I don't agree with it. I just the lineup I would have played would be Buffon on goals. The right back would have had Quadrado, De Ligt, Chiellini in the middle with Danilo at left back, and then for the four in the midfield I would have Chiesa on the right, Artur and Rabiot, and Bernardeschi on the left. I think it gives us a better balance.
Yeah, it's interesting to still see McKennie sliding out into one of those outside roles, especially again when we factor in the way Atalanta plays.
It may be. I think it's because McKennie, if he's playing, it will be because of the way Atalanta plays. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think on one of those wide roles, you would probably maybe be better suited to have a Bernardeschi or a Kulusevski even. A little bit more two-way than McKennie there. McKennie could be a two-way player, but outside wide, he's been lost for a bit. So it's a bit interesting. And oddly enough, looking back at matches when McKennie performed well in that role, it was never on the right side. It was very rarely did he do okay on the right side when he was playing that kind of hybrid outside role. The left side, however, he did quite well.
Yeah.
Especially at the beginning of the season. So it's really weird when I started looking back because I was like, he's played there and it's been pretty good. And he seemed to be a better option than Ramsey there and whatnot. And when you started going back, looking at these setups, it was the left side where he was actually doing so. It's really strange. I'm not really sure why or whatnot, but I mean, that can happen. And Chiesa is one of the players that's looked much better on the right side.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's still one of those guys that gives you so much that I think you could play him on either side, but it is noticeably different when he gets over on the right side. So the lineup, like I say, a little bit interesting there from Juve. I think the biggest thing is, again, what side are we going to see? Are we going to see the determination, the attitude, the aggression that we saw against Merda just on the weekend? That's going to be the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Because that still, for me, has been one of the main problems regardless of tactics, systems, and all of this.
Absolutely.
This season. Would you agree?
I couldn't agree more. I think tonight, regardless of it's the usual topics: who starts, what formation they're going to line up, who's going to play where. Forget all that. It's a final. Let's get up for it. Let's show determination. Win those small battles over the pitch. If you apply yourself in these types of games, especially in a final, you'll get over the line. As I say, so these players shouldn't need motivated tonight. As I say, it's been a topic all year now. As I say, for whoever's fault that may be, whether it's manager not motivating them or these players just aren't good enough to get up for the big games. But tonight, I'm expecting a massive response. There'll be fans at the stadium. The majority will be Juventus fans, as I say, so that might help. As I say, but yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, it's going to be all about that. And I mean, we look at the season and how many stupid points. Like Buffon, all of us fans have said stupid points to drop, and that's happened throughout the season. And that's where you find yourself, struggling now and needing help to get in top four when you drop all these points. And if you look at these matches and you go back there, it's very, very frustrating. Very, very frustrating. Most of those matches, we weren't even the worst side. In a lot of them, we were actually the better side and couldn't score goals. But some of them, very, very flat, losing battles all over the pitch, and when a couple of them are matches where you should be able to get up for all matches, but we know there will be lulls here and there in the season. But however, when the majority of them, you come out flat and you're talking Derby della Mola, flat, and then you're talking about these teams that, you should be handling. Benevento to come out with 1 point out of 2 matches. Fiorentina in 2 matches come out with 1 point.
That was
you have a Crotone draw in there. You have all sorts of these, and when you go back and watch these games, and it's guys just losing battles repeatedly, it's just like it's very, very frustrating. So for me, towards the end here now, it's great that they've kind of found that. It's sad that it took this much, adversity to get to that, and I would expect more with the presence that we have around the club, with guys like Buffon, Chiellini still around, Bonucci and whatnot. But to not get that, that's why you start to question these guys and having them around. And, it's time to make a shift, time to form that new spine and actually get prepared for the guys and move on.
Absolutely. Yep.
And you could see it in some guys. De Ligt, you could see De Ligt being a future captain easily.
Yeah.
Easily see it. Outside of that, does it get a little thin for captaincy? Quadrado gets a lot of shouts from Juventini, but your thoughts on outside of that, like if we not prepared ourselves properly for a new spine?
Yeah, I mean, I find myself agreeing with you most time we speak, Alberto. As I say, it's the players have certainly let themselves down. They've let everyone else down, but they've also let themselves down. And they all accept that, as I say. But the manager's let themselves down, the board, and now our president's let herself down because he's took his eye off the ball with Super Leagues and everything else has been mentioned. So it's just been one of those seasons. To be honest with you, I can't wait till it's over. To say, and we start again, and I think we'll bounce back very strongly. That's my opinion. Sorry, just on the captaincy, I think the way he's performed, and I think he's took everyone by surprise this year. Just how much he's improved, how much he's conducted. We always speak about an identity and what we've lost. I think the way that represents himself, the way he represents his club, especially after the Super League, he actually spoken on the behalf of a lot of the players. I think Danilo is a great shout for a captain or as vice captain because I think he certainly embodies everything about Juventus.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. That's a great shout, and it's again these guys that have given everything and matched that level, that attitude. Match in, match out. Those are the guys you look to for your leaders. And sadly enough, I've been saying it, but Bonucci hasn't done it.
No.
Chiellini hasn't done it. And Buffon has.
Yeah.
Buffon has done it, you know. But again, you're keeping these guys around, and then you start throwing in the physicality and Chiellini, the questions of injuries and all that, and you start to say it's time to move on. You know, It's time to get the next wave in and do it right. But the thing is again, this club, and it's been documented, it's been spoken about by everybody. They just need to do a better job of matching the level of the guys they're replacing, and doing a better job. And the patchwork needs to stop. Gaylord coming and saying De Ligt is the proper choice. Probably Chiesa after him for me as well. And I think Chiesa is a great shout. I think he is literally the embodiment of what we're looking for in terms of identity and whatnot. But I think it's a little soon, right? You probably get some more appearances and whatnot, rack him up. But I mean, in terms of attitude and his desire and whatnot, and how he approaches every match, for that alone, you could say he's been leading by example, really.
Oh, absolutely. De Ligt, Chiesa, and Danilo for me have been the three outstanding players this season. Just first of all, for the effort they put into it. This is what we've been discussing. They put so much effort into it, energy. Sacrifice, and then you see the footballer. You see the talent comes naturally because they're gifted footballers. But as a Juventus player, certainly from a fan, you expect that bit more. You expect that just to be a natural thing to show sacrifice, grinta. And these three players have done it all consistently all through the year. So I think if any one of them could be a captain.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, it's Pirlo's birthday. Okay, so what a birthday gift it would be for him to get this Coppa Italia.
Yeah.
And Georg even said Pirlo might still end the season with 2 trophies. What a birthday present it would be for him. So happy birthday to the maestro, Mr. Pirlo. And, I can't help but think back this season and look at it. And I put a tweet out yesterday and I said, I understand this season hasn't gone the way any of us would have liked.
Yeah.
But I still feel I still feel myself personally that even an experienced manager would have struggled a lot in this season with Juve. Now, having said that, I think an experienced manager would have definitely qualified for top 4 by now.
Absolutely.
But I don't see an experienced manager winning a Scudetto with this side with the lack of identity and flux that we're having. In Champions League, maybe we get by Porto, but it probably ends there because I see a gap in quality of players with some of these other clubs. And again, when you're questioning a lot of your guys for the desire, the hunger, the passion, the drive, it's tough. It's tough. But your thoughts on that? Do you think in an experienced manager, would we have won this good? Because there's a lot that are saying an experienced manager, this team is good enough. We should have won the Scudetto. And I do have some mixed feelings because I don't think the Inter side that won it is as strong as, they're really made out to be. And you've shown that. On the pitch. So your thoughts on that, Antonio?
Any time to get a dig at Merda, I'm all for it. That's the worst Merda team I've seen in a long time, regardless of them winning the trophy. We lost the league this year, in my opinion. In terms of Pirlo, obviously I have criticised them openly, so I won't contradict myself. However, I think he's been brave. At the same time, he's been very naive to insist with this thesis of football that he had. In fact, you and I covered his introduction before a ball was even kicked at the start of the season, and we were all for. We were enjoying the way he was talking, how he was explaining the way he wanted to play football, and I really respect him trying to do that, especially the first couple of games of the season. However, he should have worked out pretty soon. In fact, he admitted it maybe 2 weeks ago in one of his pressers, that he should have adapted to the style of player we have. I still say that this particular team with a skill set up to not have most of the possession. and two, hit a team possibly in the counter-attack. We've seen it against Sassuolo. We've seen it in periods during the Merda game. As I say, I don't think we're a team. I don't think we're good enough to have the ball and dominate possession. You see that our possession stats are sky high, but it's very sterile. It's left to right, or usually they play it back to way, as I say. But I find it hard to criticise him. I really do. He's took the job, so you need to tip your hat to him. He might never have had that chance again. So I blame the people that gave him the job. As I say, he should have been put in that position. I've seen some tweets actually, people criticising Pirlo for taking that job. If you look at any working environment, if you're cleaning floors at a big, I don't know, one of the biggest companies in the world, and the boss comes and says, listen, I want you to spearhead this company, I want you to drive us forward, you would go from cleaning floors to doing that, because you accept the job and then you learn along the way. So you can't criticise him for accepting the job. You criticise the person that handed the keys to the Ferrari.
Yeah.
And so he's done his best, and he's just not had the players to do so.
Yeah. And it's a bit of mixed feelings there, because, you know, I think at the start, and we run into that before, because even Sarri was saying all the right things when he first took the job.
Yeah.
And even he hit a moment during his season last season where he completely just seemingly gave up on his ideas and what he wanted to accomplish. And the team started to look exactly like they did the season before.
Yeah.
Falling into old ways, bad habits, all this. And we literally crawled over that finish line last season.
Yeah.
Last season, it was, you know, the rivals to take, because there was a few teams in the mix and they all dropped it after that COVID break.
Yeah, absolutely.
This season, seemingly the same thing kind of happened, because Pirlo came in, he was trying to work out his ideas, and then he changed. And I don't know what necessarily made that happen. And maybe it was the players, and he was just not feeling that he was getting what he needed from them. And he maybe adapted and changed to what would maybe suit them better or whatnot. But he did make a change. So it's hard to say that, you know, his way doesn't work or whatnot, because what we're seeing may not necessarily be what he wants.
Yeah.
It may just be what he feels is going to work for his group. And like I said, back in January, when he started getting a good run of results, he faced some difficult matches. He went in with his 4-4-2. You saw us sit back. We didn't necessarily play the best game, but it was effective in terms of we were solid at the back with a 4-4-2. Decent balance of shutting down the flanks and decent control in the middle, but we're able to counter. And my fear was, is he going to go with this? Because I didn't see it as the proper way or our best approach.
Yeah.
You know, but you're saying that you do see us more as that counter-attacking side and whatnot. But I'm kind of torn. I think the games and the opponents kind of dictate a lot of that, and sometimes you have to be able to do that and absorb pressure and then turn it around on them. But there's a lot of times we play these lineups that will put a low block on us, and we have zero ideas. And this dates back to Allegri, the struggles with the low blocks and trying to work around them and get that going. And then you have guys like Dybala who are critical when teams do that because of the technical ability. And if you get him up in that area, that's kind of what he can do, his damage, right?
Yeah.
You don't have a guy like that available for a large portion of this season. It's tough, and you don't have the right guy in the midfield to really take advantage of that.
That's what I was about to add, actually. Our Achilles heel, and it has been since 2015, is our midfield. It's never been properly addressed. We don't have that ball-playing midfielder, or as you say, the guy who can break the lines. I say so, but Sarri and Pirlo have been trying to adopt and evolve this side into this style of football, because I find similarities in the Pirlo's and Sarri's thesis of the way they want to play, but they don't have the material. So you need to cut these guys some slack. I still think if you'd asked any Juventus fan at the start of the season, a new manager, but he'll guarantee you a Super Coppa win, a Coppa Italian win, and still we might have a chance of finishing in the Champions League. I think any Juventino would have probably took that, considering the circumstances.
And that's what I mean, right? So it's even Allegri in that interview he did with Sky.
Yeah.
Even Allegri said, all things considered, he said, Pirlo's actually done a good job. And this was a couple months ago, you know. But now it's like top 4. If he wins today, a Coppa Italia, a Super Coppa. Granted, they're not the trophies, first choice trophies, whatnot, but they're trophies. You know, if you're going to credit one manager for his trophy list, you have to give it to this one as well.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we're counting tallies on trophies of previous guys. You can't now all of a sudden say, well, it's just the Coppa Italia when he wins it. You got to keep it level. So 2 trophies, Super Coppa, Coppa Italia, a top 4 finish, should we get it, for a guy that didn't even have a ticket before the season.
Yeah.
I don't like for him personally, it's a success. That's a successful season for him personally. He won't even admit it, and he's been harsh on himself. But realistically, like, he had better intention. Obviously, he had better expectations of himself. I personally didn't. I wiped out my expectations. I didn't know what to expect. But we're going into the season with a guy that didn't even have a ticket. You're absolutely right. That's on management. A team with these resources shouldn't be in that. But here we are, and Pirlo personally, and this is why now with the discussion of all these other coaches, you know, Mihailovic, Gattuso, whatnot, Inzaghi, I personally, if it's not a serious step up, what's the point? We're just going in circles.
Yeah.
Because, you know, now we're always going through these mercados, getting guys, and you're like, you know, people were saying last year, we need to get the guys for Sarri, whatnot. Well, now it's like, who are we getting players for?
Exactly. Yeah.
And you're just, there's no stability in there. So as much as we all have issues with Pirlo, at the same time, you just can't have a revolving door at that position.
Yeah.
And at some point, if it isn't a drastic step up, and you've been, you know, openly critical of, you know, Pirlo and whatnot, and you've said for a while, you know, he should have been gone, even just to create the stimulus of finishing the season stronger and securing top 4 or whatnot. Are you on that same wavelength? If it isn't, you know, a top tier manager, do we make the change? Do you still think you make the change if it's a Mihailovic, Gattuso, or Inzaghi? Do you still make that change, Antonio?
No, unless it's Zidane or Allegri with a proven track record, especially Allegri, who's been at Juventus and knows the environment, knows the club, and gets results. I would keep Pirlo, as I say. Another thing as well about Pirlo, a lot of people forget. He was basically his entourage was picked for him. Baronio, Tudor, those guys. It's just everything was thrown together. I mean, all these top managers, Allegri, Zidane, any manager for that matter with experience, come with their own entourage. So they've got a team of guys round about them who you can confide in and ask for advice. Pirlo doesn't have that, as I say, because Baronio and Tudor, to me, don't look as if they know what they're doing. Tudor's not done anything, I would say, extraordinary with the defence. It just happens to be we've got one of the best defenders in the world who sometimes carries us in most games, I say. So people forget that. But no, I would keep Pirlo because I'm interested to see what Pirlo can do with a pre-season behind him. And finally, the players adapted to his style of play. As you said, there's no point buying players and we don't even know who's going to be brought in as a manager. So, yeah, I wouldn't bring in the likes of Mihailovic and Gattuso. I think that's just another accident waiting to happen, as I say. So, no.
Yeah, I put a tweet out there yesterday. I was saying, you know, all this talk, Zidane, Allegri. No, it's going to be Allegri. No, it's going to be Zidane. All to end up with Luciano Spalletti.
Yeah, I'll change team officially. I'll watch Cremonese play or Perugia, one of the two. I just couldn't. Nah, no, thank you.
That coach is a meme. He is a meme.
Yeah,
It's just scary times. I mean, yeah, if it's the sake of making a change, I see all those managers as lateral moves, given experience or whatnot. Because that's what some people are saying. At least Gattuso has experience or whatnot. Well, Pirlo was thrown into the fire, and that's an ultimate experience.
yeah.
Literally thrown into the fire
And he's,
at a top club in Europe, and he came out. And honestly, another thing is, if we look back this season on scenarios, there was a lot of unfortunate scenarios Juve found themselves in,
yeah, I agree.
and non-calls, and stupid goals that we allowed that had nothing to do with tactics or systems. Our players simply dropping the ball and points thrown away. Even with a couple of these going our way, Pirlo would have had, top four secure. Arguably, in some of these matches, they go the other way. We weren't that far off the race. It got away from us at some point. This team, the mentality, like everything that we're seeing in these last few matches with that drive, that attitude, that faded drastically after that Porto loss.
Yeah.
And there was way too much talk about futures of all these players and whatnot. And it was just a mess. It was a mess. Luckily, we're going to have this all or nothing series to relive this thing. But,
Yeah.
honestly, there was a lot of scenarios, and you're looking at calls this past weekend, even in Serie A, and it's funny to hear all the chihuahuas of all these rival clubs and whatnot. Even in a season that's been one of Juve's worst, in a long time, we are still in their heads, and they still can't stop talking about Juve.
Yeah.
It's hilarious to me.
Yeah.
And they're talking about these calls, whatnot, that we're getting and whatnot. Look, that ref against Merida, that was an absolute horror show from the referee, whatnot. Give you that. But you're seeing these calls, and they're bitching about one, but then you see it same in the next match, or vice versa. Something gets called, and then we go down the line, and you take all these scenarios throughout the season of penalties we did not get.
Yeah.
Napoli gets this call that completely changes the game against Fiorentina, but we never got it when De Ligt was involved in the exact same scenario in the area.
Yeah.
Literally hand across shirt, full extension, whatnot. We never got that call.
Exactly. Yeah.
Game changer in that match.
Yeah.
Game changing call in that match for us. We didn't get it.
Yeah.
And the list goes on and on and on. So there's a lot of bad luck that went against this side as well, and then you factor in injuries as well, and that plays a big part. There was a lot of misfortune. Things could have been different.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
But ultimately, it always kind of comes down to what you see on the pitch, and unfortunately, a lot of it has been clunky and broken. Right?
Yeah. So, absolutely. Yeah.
It's the unfortunate thing, but I think, for those that are able to maintain somewhat a level of perspective, it could have easily been flipped. And throughout the season, at one point, even throughout the start when Pirlo was trying to figure things out, and he still didn't even know where he was going to use people, we were seeing this mix of these systems, 4-3-1-2, 3-5-2, 3-4-1-2. You're seeing all this mix. We were well within the race, and we were getting those unfortunate events were taking place. And at one point, he was just unlucky to not be in top spot based on not getting these calls and stupid errors by players that were costing us points, So it's a tough one. The perspective there is, is it worth making a change for one of these other guys that really hasn't done much?
No.
And has had players, that have been built, that have chemistry, that have played together for a while, like an Inzaghi for me.
No. No. But it doesn't breathe confidence into the supporters, the club. If you go for the likes of Inzaghi, Mihailovic, Gattuso, all these players, with the greatest respect to them, because I actually really enjoyed watching them play football, and they're also decent managers, but they're modest managers. They're just not Juventus quality. We're going back to the Del Neri days, in my opinion, with those kind of players, managers. Sorry. I disagree with what I've heard. A few comments mentioned by people on Twitter, and no particular, nobody in particular, as I say, but Gattuso, Mihailovic may have got different results in terms of how they get their message across to this particular group of players, because Pirlo, we all see how calm he is. He doesn't strike me as a manager that's rah. Mihailovic and Gattuso, they're more kind of aggressive in their approach, so they may have got different results. Because you've touched on it, I think the problem this year has been complacency. It has been for a long. The cracks have been there for a long time. They've came obviously to the forefront this year, let's say because of circumstances. But complacency and years of winning, and not changing the players appropriately and freshening things up. These are the results. Look at Real Madrid. You can't expect the likes of Toni Kroos, Modric, Sergio Ramos to continuously keep winning. As I say, because they've won all they can. It's the same with our players in Italy. Domestically, they've won, was it 19 trophies? Is it 18 or 19 trophies in a 10-year period, as I say? Yeah. So you can't keep expecting these guys to perform week in, week out. You would like to, and you would expect them to, as I say, but that's just the reality, I'm afraid, So.
Yeah, and that's just it. This could be the 19th. This would be the 19th trophy should they get it, and all the guys are saying the same thing. Chiellini, Buffon, they're just saying it was going to come to an end at some point. It's very, very hard to maintain that. Yeah. And when you factor in a lot of questionable decisions by the board, yeah, you find yourself in a bit of a flux there. But all in all, I don't think we're that far off.
No.
For next season.
No.
Or the season after that and whatnot. So I think some are making it to be a lot more dramatic than what it actually is. I don't think we're that far off. Again, if you go down these scenarios, it could have really been a much, much more different outlook. In terms of Atalanta, even going into Sunday with some fans thinking that, we'll scratch your back, you scratch ours type of thing in regards to this match. No, go out, win the Coppa Italia. Atalanta will be going for second spot. It seeds them better in Europe. It also, there's a 10 million euro swing for them in finishing second or sliding down into fourth or whatnot. They're going to want to lock up fourth spot. So they're going to go after it against Milan. I don't have any doubts there, regardless of what happens. Some are saying, well, you can't let them win this because they'll celebrate and then they're not going to show up against Milan on Sunday. I think they're going to show up. I think they're going to go after that one because the 10 million euros, that's a bigger swing for them and it seeds them better in Europe. So I don't have any doubts of them not going after it against Milan. Are you in the same wavelength as me on that, Antonio?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Atalanta, as you say, with all due respect to them, £10 million or 10 million euro is a hell of a lot of money to them, as I say, and it's an improvement. I'm trying to remember, did they finish third last year or fourth? Where did they finish last year?
I can't recall. I think it was fourth.
So it's an improvement. So they'll be looking to improve on the pitch and obviously financially off the pitch. So I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was either third or fourth they finished, I believe. But they're going to be going after that. There's no doubt in my mind. I wouldn't be worried about them not showing up against Milan, regardless of the outcome of this particular match. And I think Gasperini he's got them set up to kind of go after that. That's kind of been their mentality. They'll go at anybody across from them and get after it and go for the win. So I'm not really concerned about that. But now let's get into this match today. Factoring in, we spoke a bit about the previous matches, how they went down and everything. Everybody joining us on the live, this is where you drop your predictions in here. are we going to win this Coppa Italia today, Antonio?
Yes. I've just got a gut feeling. Don't ask me results. Don't ask me to predict score lines. I've got a gut feeling. I think things have turned in our favour. Just obviously what you spoke about on the last day. We've got so many lifelines. When maybe a week ago we were basically accepting the fact that we were out of everything. So things look as if they're turning into our favour. I hope, as I say. So yeah, I'm confident tonight we'll get the result. Yeah.
There you go. I'd like to think along the same wavelength, and I think we are going to do it. And I'm going to be sporting the exact same jersey I have over these past couple of matches where all of a sudden we're doing, I can't break it now. I can't break it now. So the 15-16 home jersey with Marquisio on the back, that's been the one for the past little string here. I'm going to ride it out, hopefully into Sunday. And hopefully we get the job done and then get the top four spot as well. And that's going to be the next question we're going to wrap up with there, Antonio. Are we going to get the job done against Bologna? And are we going to get the help we need? Are we going to slide into that top four?
Sorry, just come back to what you were saying about lucky omens and maybe a jersey that if obviously you'd win, you'd keep if we keep wearing if we'd won. You'd asked me in a previous podcast if I had any traditions, and I told you no, I don't. But I've realised just recently, since I stopped watching the game with my dad, we seem to win every single bloody game we play. So I've told him not to come near my house until the season's finished. So I'm quite happy with that. I think we'll get the job done. I think before we were relying, I strongly believed that Milan would have beat Cagliari and we were going to have to put all our hope into Juventus beating Bologna and Verona getting a result against Napoli. Now I look at the Milan game and I think to myself, well, there's 2 results out of 3 that would favour us. Milan are so unpredictable. They don't have Ibrahimovic. There's so many things that go in your favour, but let's not forget Juve need to win, as I say. So there's no point in doing all these scenarios if you don't do your job, as I say. So go out, do your job. I don't even want to see the bench communicating to the players any results. Now I know that will be happening because obviously all 3 games are getting played at the same time. But Juve need to get the job done, and then everything else is in the hands of the gods.
Absolutely.
But we'll do it.
Absolutely. Another wild final day upcoming. Tensions will be high. It's gonna be intense. But we've got to get the job done here today. And my gut's kind of with you, Antonio. I think the guys will get the job done, rise to the occasion. I hope so. The first 2 matches against Atalanta, they were able to expose some gaps there, and hopefully we shore them up. I mean, this is another one of those why I say mixed feelings on Pirlo, because we talked about it from one match to the next. He didn't seemingly pick up a whole lot against Atalanta. So hopefully in this one, hopefully the 3rd time's a charm.
Yeah.
And he can figure out some of those. This will be big for Buffon. And look at that. Great timing by his counter there. Winner for Buffon. Chiellini. This could be the last trophy, shot for him with Juve. His future in question. A lot of talk about him going to MLS. So big guys there. Buffon, Chiellini. It's Pirlo's birthday. Let's go out. Let's get the job done. Let's get this trophy for all these guys. And this will be big for the younger guys on the team, not just these vets. It's big for the younger guys. Another trophy. And just continuing this wave towards the end, even if it's very, very late in the season, but you're making a push when it matters.
Exactly.
All these games have been like finals. It just picks up that momentum.
Yeah.
Gives them more experience in these adverse situations, and we can ride some momentum, hopefully not into Sunday only, but next season as well. So it's big for the young guys, as it is a nice a moment for the older guys. Should we pull it off and get this trophy? So let's get after it. Let's go for it. I don't like to hear the talk like we were discussing earlier about some fans just saying, no, don't worry about the Coppa Italia, focus on Sunday. No. Get this done. get it done for all the guys around you, for the younger guys, the older guys, your coach, and let's finish the season strong and ride it out. Okay, so that's where we're at. We both think they're going to win. I'm not going to call a prediction on this one because honestly, I don't really care how the hell it happens. I just want to see them hoist this trophy. And Malachi made a great comment earlier that, it is a little sad and unfortunate when you think about it, that over this, decade of dominance, people were shitting on the Serie A trophy, and especially the Coppa and Super Coppa. And now you give anything to win them. And I've always said, don't take any trophy
exactly for granted. That's actually a really good point, actually. Alberto and I are obviously similar aged. I've been there through the Serie B days. God, I'm even old enough to remember the final in Rome when we lifted the European Cup. So I don't take for granted any cup or any trophy that's there to be won. Just like I don't take for granted when we're linked with the likes of Hakan Çalhanoğlu, or maybe players that don't suit everybody's taste, as I say, because I also remember the players we had kind of before our recent dominance started. We could never attract these types of players or compete for even a Coppa Italia. So let's not forget where we've came from. I think a lot of Juventini just need to settle down a bit, because that's the Juventus I remember was always the underdogs and the giant killers. So I would like to be underdogs again, because that's when we're most dangerous.
Yeah. And, that's the thing, is maybe, getting knocked off the perch there, lights that fire again. And then we come back even stronger, and if anything, if there is any good to take from this, it's that it's opened up some eyes to some weaknesses and some soft spots that we need to address moving forward. And I do have faith that the club will address them. I think they will. And again, you and I, especially being the old guys around the AJC team here, we've seen the days of great Juve squads that didn't win trophies. We've seen great clubs not win Scudetti. And it's just, it is what it is. This decade has almost made it feel like it's just almost the fans have become
complacent,
almost like the players. You just expect it, and you just you can't expect it. It's just these crazy dynasties and whatnot, they all come to an end. But again, if we bounce back and we come back harder and say we win it next year, that's still,
we will win it. We will.
10 Scudetto out of 11 seasons or what? You know what I mean? It's still.
We will win the league next year. We will win the league.
There you go. Look at this prediction. Okay, we're going to save this one.
100% we will win the league this year. We're in a much better financial position than we were 10 years ago. We have appeal. All the players wants to play with Juventus again, and I believe in my club, and I trust my club. But we'll get it right the next time with the manager, the players, everything, and we will bounce back stronger. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely, and I like to have the same faith in the club, and I believe we will get it right. Philip Fry coming in. Ciao, Amici. Let's have faith in tonight. It's a cup final. He's predicting a 1-1 end after the 90 and extra time, to be decided on PKs. Wow. That would be something, and honestly, just adding to the wild drama towards the end of the season. But yeah, let's hope for the victory. Of course, we'll be back with a post-match podcast. That'll be tomorrow. So again, recorded live. So hopefully we all have a trophy to celebrate, a Coppa Italia victory, and some momentum, more momentum going into that critical, crucial match against Bologna on Sunday. Thank you, everybody who took part in the live. Thanks to Antonio, as always, and enjoy the match. There's going to be some drama, I feel. It's going to be a grind, but we have faith Juve will pull through. And I will be wearing the same kit I've been wearing for the past couple of weeks here. We've been getting wins since I put it on, so I'm going to keep it the same. Everybody that's tuning in, whatever you've been doing, do the exact same thing. Let's keep the good times going. And I've got an announcement. And if Juventus wins today, and we slide into the top 4, I will buy a subscriber the brand new Juventus kit and have it shipped to you.
Wow.
All right, so there's my my good vibes that I'm putting out to Juventini out there.
Can I just add something, Dad? If you're watching, stay away from my home tonight. Thank you. Love
you
you,
go.
Dad.
We're gonna wrap up on that, telling Antonio's dad not to tune in. That's fantastic. Thank you again, everybody. Please like the video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. We've got a lot of good stuff, especially even through the out season. We got a lot off season. We got a lot of fun stuff coming. So thank you as always for all the support as the season winds down. I can't thank all of you enough. It means a lot, and very happy with all the messages I get and the good vibes and support, and happy to have great members of the All Juve cast team in Antonio, Omar, Lewis, Raf, Eric, Luca, Daniel, Francisco, all great guys, and we've got a lot of good stuff pumped for you guys coming out. So stay tuned as always. Forza Juve, fino alla fine, get that trophy. Just win. Enjoy the match, everybody. Ciao.